Would you have eaten the apple if you were in the Garden of Eden? Would you have eaten that apple, as the book of Genesis opens up and God says to Adam and Eve, you can do anything you want, have of anything here except the tree of life. Would you have eaten that apple? That's what I want to get into. You see, if you're struggling with, hating your job, hating the way you have to get up every morning and give your best and fight for life and fight for the things you believe in, if you're hating that, the story of Adam and Eve has something for you. If you're a man that doesn't understand why your woman and you are always at odds and always you're here, she's there, tension, power struggles, dynamic, the Adam and Eve story has something for you. If you are a woman and you don't like the way men are always, leaders and strong and muscular and wanting to be the best and be leaders and tell you what to do, the story of Adam and Eve has something for you. Before I get into it, I'd like to illustrate that for many years, I was raised Catholic. And, I consider myself a Catholic still. It feels good to say that, by the way. I love saying that I'm a Catholic. It's actually the name Catholic sounds good. I love the Eucharist. I love prayer. I love meditation. I am also a yogi. If you can't handle that, I don't care. Look it up and do some more research, But I am a Catholic that meditates. And they are both complementary to each other. Now, when I grew up, did my first communion, eventually I came at odds with the church. I left the Catholic Church. I went to a Protestant church, technically a Pentecostal church. Now, this church, they spoke in tongues. They're very fundamentalist, told people they're going to hell. And the structure and the excitement and the drama, I guess it felt good. It felt good to have this direction, this clear way of being. And, this is this, and this is that. It just, that clarity feels good. It does. I mean, anyone that tells you it doesn't, I guess they never gotten that vibe, but it feels good to know that you're right and others are wrong. And it feels good to some degree. And eventually, I felt that the pastor was being controlling and manipulative. And, it turned out that church was kind of cultish. I must be getting comfortable with you all because I'm putting on lip balm during the actual video. So that means I'm getting pretty comfortable in front of the video. Anyway, so I walked away from the church for a long time. And I went through an agnostic phase, like kind of an atheist phase, or a strong doubt, I would say, depending on how you see it. And even studied a little bit of Kabbalah and all this stuff, right? It wasn't until 2008 when I picked up Purpose Driven Life and I said, I'm going to give, after 30 days, I said, I'm going to give God a chance to give this concept of I have a purpose in life. I'm going to give this concept a chance again, this idea that God's out there for me. And I got into reading Yogananda's writings, and it really helped me to just see God as my father and I'm his son, and just leave it at that. And I needed something that I could work with. And that was as simple as that was everything that I needed. Not complicated, not some weird shit. Just God is your father, you are his son. Can you accept that? No, accept Jesus first, accept this first, just say this prayer first. Can you just accept that you're God's son? Can you just fucking accept that? Yes or no? And for me, I was like, yeah. It resonated with me. Everything made sense like that to me. And so I'll get into the Adam and Eve story here. Now, so that took me down a path, and I got into meditation eventually, yoga, and all these things. And now we're going to get into the Adam and Eve story. Okay. I'm gathering the thoughts for you. Okay. There's Adam, there's Eve. Don't eat the apple, right? Why do you think Eve ate the apple? So what you're about to hear is my best understanding based on observation, experience, and research. Again, observation, what I see, experience, what I experience in dealing with the opposite sex, and research, meaning actually reading, contemplating. So if you have a limited amount of all of those three, and you just want to disagree with me, it's going to be very difficult for you to do that. So, why do you think she ate the apple? Well, I'm going to have you consider that Adam is a representation of logic, of intellect and logic, structure, rules, methodologies. You know, I told you just now, research, experience, and observation. Men, if you're a man watching this video, you likely were disarmed to some degree by that. If you're very skeptical, you may have, that may have triggered a little bit of hate, and you're watching me taking notes, seeing how you could find errors in my position. Now, if you're a woman, you're sensing my vibe a little more than the man is. You're picking up the integrity, my alignment, my overall cellular function, and the energy that I'm expelling from myself. You may see that I'm ignited, that I'm on some level just on fire. And you may wonder, somebody that is that aligned can't necessarily be so wrong, because the alignment can only exist when there's alignment within. Now, both men and women have the ability to see each other's view. I was talking to somebody today, and I mentioned, when you're throwing a party for your little girl, you're talking about all these things you're going to be doing, like all of the events. I go, that's very feminine. Now, as I say that, you need to understand that we're living in a society that looks to dispel the differences between men and women and make it seem like we're all the same. But see, I have a beard, like a full-grown fucking beard, and if a woman were to have this, she'd be mortified. She would think, oh my God, why do I have such a fucking long-ass beard? And me as a man, I like it. I like it. Think about the way I just said that. Like, I like it, right? When I lift, I'm like, power, right? And a lot of you may not think I had that aspect to me because I'm well-spoken and I'm just like this guy that reads and shit. And you think I don't have that in there, but it's all in there. And so, going back to Adam and Eve, if Adam represents the logical aspect of man, where is logic? Where do you think logic is in your being right now, in your body? Where is it? If you're pointing to your head, to your brain, or you just went like this, like my brain, that's correct. Your logic is up here. It functions based on neurons, synapses, information, data, observation, memories, experience, research experience, kind of like what I just said, what I'm using to give you this information. Observation, experience, research. Logic. That's where you can say that's the Adam part. Now, Eve in the Bible represents the body, the feminine nature. And, as I was telling my friend, she's designing this party with all kinds of snacks in the corners, and she's designing the layout. And, almost like like this experience, right? This physical, ooh, wow, this experience of, ooh, look at that, ooh, sensation, ooh, right? Like sensuality. Ah, yes. That's the feminine aspect of the human being. Now, let's look at the snake. The snake in the garden, we're going to give the metaphor of sexual energy. Sexual energy. And the snake whispers to the feminine, to the woman aspect about, hey, eat the apple. Eat the apple. God doesn't want you to be all-knowing, as he is. But if you eat the apple, you will be. And so, Eve is drawn to it sensually, and she eats the apple. And then she says to Adam, who is in a state of logic, in a state of obedience and discipline, hey, have this apple. She's now been seduced by the snake, sexual energy, and has succumbed to its lure and is looking for Adam to also eat the apple. Now, the tree of life in the Bible represents, and here's where it gets graphic, but I'm not, this is for adult. If you're a child and you want to stop the video and exit the room, or you're at work or you're fucking sensitive, just leave, okay? This is for adults, or people that can have the ability to think like an adult. So the tree symbolizes, the spine. Think of the tree like this, but it's an upside down tree, and the fruit is, the apple is the genitals. And so it's not like this situation where there was like a literal, an apple being eaten. You say Eve, being the sensual being that she is, bit into the apple, meaning engaged in sexuality, and therefore made Adam succumb into the sensuality. And so that's why when God comes to them and he says, hey, what's up? And Adam and Eve was like, we're naked, we're dressed. And he's like, who told you you were naked? Who told you that? And Eve says, the snake told us that. The snake told me, and the apple. And now, all-knowing, meaning they lost their innocence. It's like a child. Before they have sex, they're said to be innocent. As they transition into adulthood, have sex, open up to the world around them, they're no longer innocent. And you could say more all-knowing. And so the second that you understand that you can create life, have sex, open yourself to sensuality, read books, take drugs, do all kinds of shit, right? You could do all kinds of shit. You could commit all the sins in the world. All 10 of them, you can commit them all. You can do that. It's in your ability. That is your power of your will. The second you know that, and you do it consciously, in a state of conscious knowing, you are exercising a power similar to that of God. And so God says, as he casts them out of this state of perfection, now you are like God, all-knowing. And you as a man will struggle with the earth to produce a harvest. You as a woman will have trouble, will have pains in childbirth, and you will be under the The man will be the headship or the leader of this dynamic. And as God put that, this is a curse that God put on Adam and Eve. It's a curse. Like, it literally is a curse. He was like, that's a curse. And so, if you're having these issues, it's all part of this cosmic game created by God. You may not like it. Like I said, adults only. You may fucking hate me for telling you. I don't give a shit. Like I told, if you can get a glimpse as to how this works, like, I literally see things this way. It's so much clarity that I get it if you hate me for it. Because it's so much fucking clarity. That it's non-judgmental. There's no one telling you you're going to hell. There's not like, it just is like, oh shit, it's been there the whole time. Woman, femininity, sensuality, the apple, the luring. And that game is played in almost every instance where there's a man and a woman involved. Almost in every fucking instance. You could hate it all you want. It does. Once you hear this, you're just going to see it played out. Like in everything. You'll see it played out in almost every situation between men and women, or dynamic where there's sexuality involved. The feminine. Even in relationships where there's a gay couple, there's always a feminine energy and a masculine energy. And these things they consistently play out. Okay? So, what would you have done? Would you have eaten the apple? On a scholarly attitude, meaning a scholar is someone that can kind of take like this, like, infinite foot view, meaning the objective of a scholar is to be able to speak in a way that, kind of like the way I'm speaking now, but even more detached. Almost like a godlike frame, right? Because I'm in that game as a creation of the game. I'm in the game. And then a scholar is almost this clinical observationalist that is able to say, like, in other words, the person that wrote the Bible would be somewhat of a scholar, right? And then my job as a scholar is to be the guy that sees the guy that wrote the Bible, the story he told, and tell all those layers. And here's my current position to you as that guy. The game is to be enjoyed. It's this cosmic play that plays itself out time and time again, that it can become comical almost. Like, and no matter how smart you get, how strong you get, how much you achieve, it keeps playing out over and over and over and over. Through the centuries, through thousands of years, genocide, changes in the governments, over and over and over again. It's almost comical. Like, if you can, it's like, okay, look, check this out. Is there a man involved? Is there a woman involved? Okay, where's the sexual tension? Where's this, where's the snake moving through now? Is the consciousness going upward towards logic, or is it moving into the body to, get into the state of creating or having sensuality? Where is the current position of that sexual energy? Is it going upwards to objectives, or like, it's always that sexual energy consistently. And God is involved in every second of it. And that, like all those layers, meditation is to go deep into that truth and surrender to everything. Surrender to truth, surrender to God, surrender to the knowledge, surrender to the ever-existing everything. This is Jacob Adams. Hope you have some insight from this. Maybe you would have eaten the apple, maybe you have not. Hopefully you saw that feminine energy and masculine energy is consistently playing its role in your life, in my life, and in every situation where there's the feminine and masculine involved. You hopefully now see that no matter what you do, this curse is affecting your life this very second.